Hello, I'm Debbie Tribble. Today we are going to work in circular array. Circular array uses one pattern to make a new and different pattern. It begins with a single pattern, then repeats and rotates it for a totally different look. Creative Studio only needs to know three things in order to achieve this. Number one, which pattern to use. Number two, how many repeats are needed or how many degrees between each repeat. And number three, where do you want to place the array center point? Today I'm using a pattern from Jukebox Quilts, the Mariner's Compass blade motif. This pattern is one of the new patterns available for download on the Gamble website. Don't miss these. You do not have to be running version 5.0 to use these great patterns. Now let's get started. I'm working in standalone mode, or SAM, today. On my CAD screen, I already have a boundary drawn for a Mariner's Compass. You may have already had a customer bring you a quilt containing one of these blocks. I'm going to place my selected pattern on the CAD screen using repeat patterns. I will position the blade inside my boundary. With my pattern selected, I will right-click my mouse. A drop-down menu appears. Select Circular Array. When your mouse hovers over this option, a second drop-down menu appears. Creative Studio prompts you for information. If you know the number of total patterns that you want but not the degrees, just type in the total number, then click on the word Copies. Creative Studio will subtract 1 from your total number and use that for the number of copies. It will also calculate the number of degrees to use. Number of copies? Well, I have 4 blades. I'm going to use 4. I'm going to click on Copies. Creative Studio now changes my 4 to a 3, and the number in the degree box changes. I'm then ready to place the array center point. When I click on the circular array icon, this icon resembles a daisy, my cursor changes from a pointer to a crosshair. I can then zoom in to the center of my Mariner's Compass boundary and place my patterns. The crosshair allows for greater accuracy when placing. I would like to point out that the start and end on this pattern are in the same position. This works well in this instance because of the bulk caused by the many layers of seam allowance at the center point. Starting and stopping the pattern away from the center will result in a nicer stitch out. We will now select this pattern, drop it away, and we will repeat the process using degrees as the criteria. So I have selected the pattern, placed it on my CAD screen. Now we'll left click to select it, right click to get the drop down menu, hover over circular array. Number of copies? Why, I don't know. Number at degrees, fixed position of degrees, 90. Now when I click degrees, Creative Studio automatically prompts that I will use 3 copies, recognizing the copy that is already on the screen. I can now place my center array point. Again, my cursor has changed to a crosshairs to allow for greater accuracy. Now as I pull this across, I want to show you that although we placed that pattern the second time using different criteria, it is almost exactly the same as the first pattern that we created. This is the beauty and accuracy of our software, Creative Studio. I also would like to say that while these patterns will sew consecutively, they will not sew continuously. This is as designed. Let's go on and try another way to use our circular array. I have selected the pattern Fall by Karen Emerson. It is a point-to-point pattern. I'm going to select it on the CAD screen, right-click, circular array. This time I'm going to say 8. 8 copies. Now I'm going to click on the word copies, and I get the degrees figured by Creative Studio. Let Creative Studio do its magic. So after my degrees are calculated by the software, I will click on the array center point. This time I'm going to drop my crosshairs down further from my pattern. I will get a wreath effect. Wow, there it is. Now notice my start and end points for my pattern are not connected. This is not a problem for Creative Studio. We simply change our pattern anchors to the endpoint, blue or F11 anchors. Endpoint snap is selected at the bottom of our CAD screen, and now we will consecutively work our way around our wreath, end snapping as we go. This allows our pattern to stay proportional to one another, and it also allows it to sew now consecutively and continuously. We can check this with the F2 shortcut key. We can also check with the right toolbar. There's a virtual stitch out button there, so we can check it either one of those places. In short, although all patterns were placed today using the Circulary feature, they will not all sew continuously. The sewing sequence is dependent upon the start and end points of all patterns placed by Circulary. I hope this video will prompt you to explore more in Creative Studio.